Hey YouTube. So I've taken a huge step in the journey for my next book. I have sent Night of the Half Angels off to beta readers, so I can take a little bit of a breather from editing anyway. But so who is this character that appears in this series that I've talked so much about over the past month and even probably the past couple of years? Because Angela Nardi and I have had quite the history. She's appeared in two Phantom Lock books and now is appearing in her own series. But of course, people ask me, do I need to read the Phantom Lock series to enjoy The Night of the Half Angel? And of course, the short answer is no. Night of the Half Angel came about through both my desire and other people's desire to see more of this character. And who Angela Nardi is basically in the elevator pitch. She's a half angel who investigates the paranormal. And she hasn't really known who her parents were until recently. She found out during a case that one of her parents, she's not sure which, was an angel and the other was obviously a human. And so she's gone through life not knowing where her enhanced strength, endurance, and healing abilities have come from. But she also has these abilities to create magic light constructs, like she can blast light at people and restrain them. But using this magic ability is very, very tough on her body. It tires her, and when she uses the more powerful attacks, it even ages her temporarily. And she discovers that other angels have these abilities and limitations to much lesser extent too, but of course they're much stronger. And she basically, I wanted to create this character who wasn't sure who she was or where she came from, and she was adopted by a family, and she was raised on a farm. And she was adopted and raised on a farm. And this character, I wanted to portray a person, just a person. I didn't think of her as through her gender or sexuality first. You know, a lot of people have asked me recently what her preference is, and I really hadn't given it that much thought because I didn't think that was pertinent to the actual story. But I wanted to go with somebody that I thought could be a decent role model or a character you could really get behind. You know, somebody that you could root for. Because I think that the thing to do now is to create these really deep and damaged characters. And it's not that Angela doesn't have dark parts to her. It's like the dark and serious things and themes I got out mostly through Kurt, and will continue to do that in my Phantom Lock series. But Angela is more optimistic. She's a little bit funnier, and she has a little bit more light in her heart, and I think it has to do with her youth too. She's in her mid-30s, so she hasn't experienced life quite as much as Kurt has. But it's like, even in books and television shows, they portray these really dark and damaged characters that aren't necessarily even fundamentally good people. They're anti-heroes. But Angela is definitely at her core a very, very good character. She's got a very good heart, and she really just wants to protect people. And I think that stems from not only her lineage, but her parents who raised her taught her those values too. And there's definitely some Superman inspiration in there, being raised on a farm and whatnot. I'm a big fan of that character. But Angela was somebody that I'd been fascinated with, and it's funny, she intended to be a one-off character, but I ended up falling in love with the character because she kind of just took a life on her own, and I was just like, you know, I lined out a potential 6-book series for her, and now I'm moving towards that. So she's an urban fantasy character that works for the FBI, and she does paranormal cases, and she's kind of the only paranormal investigator in the Chicago area anyway. And as far as she knows, she's one of the few in the FBI that does this sort of thing, and she is, while respected by her colleagues, sometimes her theories and things aren't so taken so seriously because ghosts and demons and stuff are still something that aren't well known by the main populace. They're still seen as things that just come from mythology, but more and more of these things are coming out, and there's a reason for that. And the first book of this series tackles that in a way, in kind of the same way as Phantom Walk does, because it all takes place in the same universe, where it just, the common theme is the lines are becoming thinner. There are these invisible lines between the real world, and these other places where these terrible things come from, and things are coming from those places to the real world where they don't belong. And it's people like Angela who investigate and stop these things from hurting innocent people. So Night of the Half Angel, you can check out my character art on Twitter and on my website. If you want to talk urban fantasy, comment below. Who's your favorite urban fantasy character? And do you have any questions about the character? I'd love to hear about other people's writing journeys, whether they're writing the urban fantasy genre or not. I'm really excited about this next book release. I can't say when the book's going to come out, other than sometime in the middle of the summer. I haven't quite decided what the release date is going to be, because I want to make sure that it's perfect, because I'm really confident in this book, and I feel like it's really something special. And the last two before it, the first two in the Phantom Walk series were special too, but it's like this is a whole different ball game, because it was intimidating at first, because you get the sense that, well, I'm a guy, what do I know about being a female officer in the FBI? But I think when you get that out of the way, and you just realize, and you just look at them as people, whether they're male or female or whatever, demons, vampires, and you just look at them as a character first, you get away from that fear. And then there's always going to be that person that's just like, you're a dude, you should only be writing about dudes. But I think that's a little closed-minded. So I'm excited to get my foot further into the genre. I think Night of the Half Angel stands on its own enough, but at the same time has some of the things you expect more in urban fantasy series, whereas Phantom Walk was sort of a genre subversion, because Kurt was in his mid-50s, supposed to be a sexy 20-year-old looking guy, and Angela, while she has a sword and everything, I get the comment that she seems like a person that you would walk by on the street, and that's something that I thought people would really gravitate towards. Anyway, thanks for watching. Check out my other videos. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my website for more character art. Bye.